This stuff right here, this is the breakfast of champions. Beet juice. If you're not growing beets in your garden, you definitely should be. Beets have tons of health benefits. They can help detoxify your blood and your liver. They can lower your blood pressure. They can provide a lot of antioxidants to fight free radicals. They can provide vitamin C and fiber, which is going to help your digestive system. And finally, they can boost your stamina and give you a lot of good, healthy energy. So we've been growing beets for about 3 to 4 years now, but this year we've really ramped up our beet production. We like the red beets, like you see here, and the gold beets as well, like you see here. Both of those are really tasty. Not only can you eat the beet root, but the greens are also really good to eat as well. These things are great raw in a salad, or you can cook them like you would a Swiss chard or something like that. You look inside these beets here, the inside of them there is really pretty. For the gold ones, see a nice yellow color there. For the red ones, really deep red color there. So we're currently on our third succession of beet planting for this year. We planted some in early January and we've already harvested those. Then we planted another round in late February, early March, and you see those right here, and these are just getting ready to harvest. And we're currently on this third succession planting. We started that this weekend and we're going to finish that up today and show you how we do it. But before we plant our beets today, let's talk a little bit about beet seed. So there's tons of different varieties of red beets out there, and there's several varieties of gold beets out there. As far as the red beets go, we've been planting the Detroit Dark Red and this Early Wonder Tall Top. For the gold beets, we like the Boldor variety, but we've also grown the Touchstone variety as well. So raw beet seed looks like this right here. It's kind of crinkly looking, pretty uneven. It looks like chard seed because they're very closely related. And this raw seed doesn't feed very well through a mechanical planter. So if you're going to be using a mechanical planter, you want to go with this pelleted beet seed. And all they do is take the beet seed and coat it with clay and make it round so it feeds through that mechanical planter better. So if you're planting in seed trays or planting by hand, go with the raw seed. If you're going to be using a mechanical seeder, go with a pelleted seed. And while we've direct seeded a fair share of our beets in the past, lately we've become a big fan of transplanting beets. So we start the beets in a greenhouse in these trays and transplant them out when they get big enough. Direct seeding beets in the soil can be a little bit tricky sometimes because beets don't germinate as well in certain soil conditions. So with this setup here, we can have constant soil conditions and get really good germination. So we like to use these 288 cell trays for transplanting our beets. It gives us a nice sized beet transplant. For the most part, you can pull these little beet transplants right out of these trays. Sometimes they can get a little sticky in there. You might have to use a knife to pull them out. So sometimes I'll pull them all out, put them in a bucket or something, and then transplant them that way. So by growing them in the trays and transplanting, it allows us to thin the beets while they're in the trays in the greenhouse. So we can pretty much do it standing up, as opposed to getting on our knees and thinning the beets in the ground. So here's some beets we planted this weekend. These are gold beets here, the Boldor variety. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know I always like to plant stuff on double rows. The double rows just allow you to maximize the space in your garden and also helps shade out the weeds in between those two rows. So anytime I can plant something on double rows, I always like to. So I went ahead and plucked all those beet plants out of that tray and just put them in this little tub truck here just to make them easier to plant. So today I'm going to use this new dibble wheel attachment on my single wheel hoe to mark the plant spacing for these beets we're going to transplant. This dibble wheel attachment consists of basically a bracket that extends from the wheel hoe toolbar to the back here where you attach the actual wheels. These are the same wheels we use on our wheel hoe. They just have holes drilled in them so you can attach these aluminum dibbles, which make a perfect little hole in the ground to put your transplants in. Now, it does work much better if your soil is firm, even if it's a little wet. We got a good rain over the weekend, and so perfect conditions for using this right now. The holes are every 4 inches along the wheel, which gives you 4-inch spacing, and then you could do 8-inch and so forth. With the extension of the dibble there, it ends up being about a 5-inch spacing, which is going to be perfect for what I'm doing today. Now, this attachment can be attached to the single wheel hoe, the double wheel hoe, or the high arch wheel hoe. And you can get kits with just a single dibble wheel, 2 dibble wheels, or 3 dibble wheels. If you get the kit with 2 or 3 dibble wheels, you get this 18-inch aluminum axle here that allows you to customize the wheel spacing or your row spacing. So that's really nice. And I've got these set up here today on about a 4 to 5 inch row spacing, which is perfect for planting a double row of beets. So then I just take my little beet transplant here, stick it in that hole right there, cover it up, and it just fits in there perfectly. So there you go, easy beet transplanting with a Haas dibble wheel attachment. So if you do a lot of transplants or you plant a lot of things that don't do well with overcrowding, for instance beets, this is a great tool for you. It just makes it really easy to have precise plant spacing so the plants have the adequate space they need to grow out well. So if you have any questions about planting beets or any questions about this tool right here, just put those in the comments below. We'll be glad to answer them for you. If you like this video and want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and also hit that little bell button down there, and you'll be able to get notifications every time we come out with a new video. So thanks for watching.